Here's the headline. Shedeur Sanders just dismantled the Browns' starting defense. Not with flash, not with circus throws, but with surgical poise, quiet command, and a confidence that made the defense look like they were reacting in slow motion. 6 of 10 in team drills. 3 touchdowns. 0 picks. All against Cleveland's best 11. Let's repeat that for clarity. A 5th-round rookie carved up a top 10 NFL defense like it was a Thursday walkthrough. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. And now, all eyes are on head coach Kevin Stefanski, who looks more like a man watching his perfectly laid plan collapse in real time than a coach guiding a quarterback room. The quarterback room isn't a competition anymore. It's a contrast. From the jump, the quarterback battle was supposed to be academic. Dillon Gabriel, the 3rd-rounder, was the plan. He'd sit behind a veteran, learn the system, maybe get spot duty later in the season. Shedeur Sanders? Just an intriguing project. Someone to watch, not worry about. Well, it's time to worry. Because this isn't just about one good practice. It's 7 straight days of consistent, controlled dominance. Each session, Shedeur's been stacking clean drives, clean mechanics, and sharp reads like a player who doesn't just get it, but who's ready to run it. Meanwhile, Gabriel is stuck in a loop. His mechanics are off. His base collapses when pressure closes in. His reads are late. His confidence? Clearly shaken. You can feel it from the sidelines. A young QB pressing, straining to match a standard that's slipping further away each day. And the cruel twist? That standard is coming from his own teammate. Shedeur's rise is disrupting the entire offense in the best way. Let's talk about what's actually happening on the field. When Shedeur takes the huddle, the unit tightens up. Routes are crisper. Protection sharpens. Veterans like David Njoku are nodding after reps. One assistant coach reportedly muttered during a red zone period, "He's playing like a 2-year starter." That's not just talent. That's command. He's throwing with anticipation, layering the ball over zone defenders, checking into hot routes when the edge crashes too early. He's doing the quiet, quarterback-wide things that usually take rookies a full season to learn. And he's doing them like he's been in Stefanski's offense for years. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's effective. And after every throw, after every perfectly timed slant or frozen rope down the seam, you can feel the question growing heavier on the field. Why isn't this guy taking first-team reps full-time? The locker room is starting to choose. Here's where it gets messy. Because when players start forming opinions, especially this early in camp, coaches have to listen, even if they don't like what they're hearing. And right now, players are picking Shedeur. You won't hear it in press conferences. Not directly. But the body language, the sideline conversations, the post-practice praise, it's all telling the same story. Veterans are watching him light up the first-team defense and thinking, we could actually win with this guy. Rookies are gravitating toward him during install meetings. Guys want to run scout reps with him, not just because he throws a catchable ball, but because he brings a sense of calm to the chaos. He's already operating like a franchise quarterback, and the team knows it. Gabriel's situation is slipping away fast. Dillon Gabriel, to his credit, isn't sulking. He's doing the work. He's studying the film. He's grinding. But the reps are exposing reality the coaching staff didn't want to confront this early. He's not ready. The throws that should come easy still look labored. The ball isn't coming out clean. He's throwing late across the middle, and his deep ball has lost touch altogether. And it's not just about mechanics. It's confidence. You can see it in his hesitation, in the way he's rushing reads, in how he's reacting to Shedeur's success. This isn't just a rookie slump. It's the pressure of being outshined by someone who wasn't supposed to be a threat. Gabriel's timeline is collapsing. Every mistake magnifies the gap. And the Browns are going to have to ask the hard question sooner than they thought. What happens when your plan B becomes your only viable option? Stefanski's dilemma: stick to the plan or save the season. Kevin Stefanski now finds himself in the middle of a storm he didn't see coming. The original blueprint made sense on paper. Develop Gabriel slowly. Let a vet start. Maybe slide Shedeur to the practice squad. But 7 days into camp, that plan has exploded. Because what Stefanski can't coach around is this. The team plays better when Shedeur is under center. So what does he do? He can stick with Gabriel and risk alienating half the locker room, not to mention the fan base who's already buzzing over every Sanders clip. Or he can pivot, hand the reins to the kid, take the heat for abandoning the process, but maybe, just maybe, start winning. It's a brutal choice, but that's what happens when talent disrupts structure. Front office tensions and Haslam's watchful eye. Don't forget, this isn't just about practice tape and touchdowns. Ownership is watching. Jimmy Haslam, notoriously involved in quarterback decisions, is reportedly very aware of Shedeur's rise. And unlike past seasons, this isn't a matter of waiting for results in October. The results are happening now. Haslam sees a young, smart, unbothered quarterback slicing through his expensive defense. He sees a rising fan-favorite media buzz and a chance to reshape the Browns' legacy without the usual disaster arc. And the message to the front office is becoming clear. Don't overthink this. Don't repeat history. Play the guy who's winning. Because the last thing this franchise needs is another season built on stubbornness. This is no longer a future debate. Shedeur Sanders isn't knocking on the door of the future. He's already in the room. And at this point, the Browns are the ones standing in the hallway, awkwardly holding the keys and wondering whether they're allowed to open it. This is no longer about upside or long-term potential. This is about results. And they're happening now on the practice field against top-tier competition. You can't ignore it. You can't downplay it. And you absolutely, positively cannot bench it for sake of protocol. Not without consequences. The real decision is coming. Fast. So where does this go? If Shedeur continues performing like this into preseason games, and there's zero reason to believe he won't, the Browns won't just have a quarterback competition on their hands. They'll have a full-blown controversy. Fans will demand answers. Players will push for clarity. And if the team stalls, if the coaching staff clings to the Gabriel plan out of stubborn loyalty, they risk losing everything. Momentum, morale, games, and eventually, the locker room. So here's the question. Do the Browns finally do something bold, or do they fall back into the cycle of maybe next year? Because the truth is staring them down on day 7. Shedeur Sanders isn't the future. He's the present, and he's already earned the job. For years, the Browns have operated under a very specific belief. That quarterback development is a slow-cooked process. That system familiarity, playbook memorization, and veteran seasoning come before raw performance. But now they're staring directly at a quarterback who walked into the building ahead of schedule. Shedeur didn't just learn the playbook. He's manipulating it, adjusting it, making checks at the line, running tempo like he owns the clock. This is no longer a conversation about upside. This is proof of concept. And that's uncomfortable for a front office that prides itself on being data-driven, structured, and patient. Because Shedeur isn't just beating the system, he's exposing it. Every time he zips a touchdown pass into a window that Gabriel never even sees, it asks a dangerous question. What if our process is broken? And in a building like Cleveland's, where hierarchy and ego often come before flexibility, that's a terrifying idea. Practice isn't just practice anymore, it's a statement. Day 7 wasn't just a clean performance from Shedeur. It was a declaration. He's not waiting for permission. He's not lobbying for snaps. He's just showing up, executing, and walking off the field with the confidence of a guy who knows he's that dude. And it's not just his throws. It's everything around them. The way he moves in the pocket, calm, not frantic. The way he carries himself between drills, focused, not flashy. The way he speaks to teammates, measured, not performative. Players notice. Coaches notice. Even the media is starting to shift tone in pressers, with questions that used to be about raw talent now turning toward starter potential. And all of this is happening while Gabriel continues to struggle just to string together 2 clean drives. At this point, it's not about the scoreboard. It's about the inevitability. Because every day Shedeur plays like this, it becomes harder to ignore what's happening right in front of their eyes. Internal divides are starting to show. Don't be fooled by the smiles and interviews. Inside the Browns facility, the divide is real, On one side, Stefanski and certain offensive coaches, still clinging to the Gabriel plan. They're arguing for patience, fit, and a long-term vision. They don't want to yank the wheel just because the road got exciting. On the other side, a growing group of staffers and assistants who know what they're seeing, a quarterback who is simply better. And then there's ownership, Jimmy Haslam, who's never been shy about stepping into QB decisions. Word is, he's been increasingly present at practices, watching from the shadows, taking notes. And he's not dumb. He sees the spark. He hears the locker room buzz. And most importantly, he knows momentum sells tickets. You better believe he's thinking long-term, not just about wins, but about headlines, about the next face of the franchise. And guess what? That face is already trending on social media every time Shedeur throws a pass. The fans have chosen. If you listen closely, the crowd at camp tells you everything you need to know. When Shedeur drops back, cameras go up, cheers rise. The buzz is electric, even during drills. When Gabriel's under center, silence, tension, a waiting game that no one's enjoying anymore. The fans aren't just watching competition. They're choosing sides, and they've made their decision. Shedeur is exciting, efficient, poised. He feels new in a way that Cleveland desperately needs. After years of mediocre QB play, scandal-tainted starters, and broken promises, fans are ready for someone they can actually believe in, not because of potential, but because of proof. And proof is exactly what Shedeur is giving them. A locker room that's becoming unignorable. You want to know how teams fracture? It doesn't happen overnight. It happens in whispers, in practice field murmurs, in group chats and subtle post-game comments. Right now, veteran players are getting antsy. They want to win. They're watching a guy with every tool they've been asking for go and use, while a favored pick gets every opportunity to struggle. And that kind of resentment, it doesn't go away. Not when guys are risking their bodies every Sunday. Not when they know the better option is already here. We've seen it before. Quarterback controversies rip apart rosters. If the Browns aren't careful, they're about to create a storm that no amount of coaching speeches can calm. The window is open. Will they walk through? This is the rarest kind of moment in NFL team building. An unexpected gift. A late-round pick walks into camp, balls out, wins the locker room, stuns the media, and outperforms his competition day after day. Most franchises pray for that. The question isn't whether Shedeur can do the job. He's already showing he can. The question is whether the Browns are brave enough to admit that the best laid plans might need a rewrite. Because if they stick with the script and start Gabriel, hoping that Shedeur cools off or fades into a nice backup story, they're not just risking games. They're risking everything. The trust of the team, the belief of the fans, the very trajectory of the franchise. If they don't start him, then what? Let's game it out. Let's say the Browns ignore what's happening and go with Gabriel as QB2 behind a veteran starter. They shelve Shedeur, develop him quietly, and ride the season out with a safe, bland offense. Best case? Mediocrity. Worst case? The team underperforms. Gabriel flops, and suddenly Shedeur is forced into action under pressure, with the expectations of an entire fan base hanging on his arm. By then, the chemistry? Gone. The flow? Broken. The opportunity to build an offense around him from the start? Missed. That's not a quarterback strategy. That's organizational malpractice. What happens if they make the bold call? Now flip it. They name Shedeur the starter. Not in week 10. Not eventually. Now, they build the scheme to his strengths. They ride the hot hand. The team rallying behind him. They light up preseason. They show the fans something they haven't felt in decades. A young, exciting quarterback who's actually ready. They go into week 1 with swagger. And maybe they win. Maybe they catch fire. And just maybe they change their story. This isn't just about 2025. It's about identity. The Browns have a choice to make, and it's not just about Shedeur versus Gabriel. It's about who they want to be. Are they going to be the same old Browns? The team that sticks with the plan even as it crumbles beneath them? The franchise that fears risk more than failure? Or are they finally going to be something else? something bold, something real, something that wins not just games, but belief. Because belief is the most valuable currency in this league. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is giving away for free every time he takes a snap. This is no longer just a QB room battle. It's a moment of truth. The Browns have stumbled into something real, something rare, and something potentially franchise-changing. Now they just have to decide if they're ready to accept it. So what say you, Cleveland? We're now deep into camp. Day 8 is wrapping up. And while the Browns try to keep the PR tone even, the mood behind the scenes, tense, uneasy, cracking. Because Shedeur Sanders has turned from promising project into undeniable threat to the entire depth chart, and everyone knows it, from the top down. The building feels like it's trying to hold together a narrative that has already collapsed. The crack in the system. For years, Cleveland's internal logic around quarterback development has looked like this. Step 1, draft a guy with tools. Step 2, sit him behind a veteran for as long as possible. Step 3, let him play when it's safe, usually when the season's already in flames. Rinse, repeat, and repeat, and repeat. It's how they handled Deshaun Kaiser, Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel. Even Jacoby Brissett was forced into a bridge QB situation that never really bridged anything. And now, they tried applying the same old blueprint to Dillon Gabriel. Problem is, Shedeur Sanders blew it up before they got to step 2. He skipped the wait in the background phase. He's not asking for the job. He's taking every opportunity and making it impossible not to give him the job. He's not learning the system. He's executing it better than the people who were drafted to run it. And that's where things get uncomfortable. Because the Browns can't follow their own plan without actively ignoring the better player. That's no longer a strategic decision. That's negligence. The day 8 moment everyone's talking about. Word is, practice hit a fever pitch during the final red zone drills. Gabriel ran 3 plays with the ones, 2 incomplete passes, 1 sack after holding the ball too long. Then Shedeur rotated in. Same defense, same playbook, different outcome. First snap, back shoulder laser to Amari Cooper. Touchdown. Second snap, pocket collapses. He steps up, avoids a pressure, finds Njoku in the flat for another score. Third snap, play breaks down. He rolls right, fires to the corner, where rookie WR Cedric Tillman toe taps for 6. 3 reps, 3 touchdowns. Coaches froze. Players celebrated. Media scrambled for angles. And Gabriel? He stood at the 30-yard line watching it all, helmet in hand, staring like a man who knows the job is slipping away. That wasn't just a highlight reel. That was a seismic shift. The Gabriel conundrum. Let's talk about the real pressure Dillon Gabriel is facing right now. This isn't just about bad footwork or missed reads. It's about the psychological toll of being passed over in real time. Gabriel wasn't supposed to compete for a job this quickly. He was brought in to be molded, given time, groomed by Stefanski. But now he's on his heels, trying to match a teammate who's already running laps around him in performance, confidence, and command. That kind of pressure, it can break guys. And you can already see the signs. Gabriel's deep ball is floating. His reads are slowing. His interviews have turned mechanical, overly careful. He's not playing his game. He's trying to survive in Shedeur's shadow. And that's not fair to him. But it's also not Shedeur's fault. In the NFL, you either rise to the moment or get replaced by someone who does. Stefanski's poker face is cracking. Kevin Stefanski is really trying to play this cool. He's sticking to the usual coaching cliches. We're rotating guys. Both quarterbacks are doing good things. We're just evaluating, nothing set in stone. But it's starting to feel like he's stalling for time, not strategizing. Because if Shedeur were a first-round pick doing this, the job would already be his. That's the uncomfortable truth. What's holding the Browns back isn't performance. It's perception. The idea that a 5th-round pick shouldn't be this good, shouldn't win this fast, and definitely shouldn't disrupt the plan. But guess what? Shedeur doesn't care about your plan. He's writing a new one. And Stefanski is running out of ways to pretend like it's not happening. The locker room's tipping point. Day 8 ended with something subtle but seismic. Shedeur broke down the team huddle. Not a coach, not a vet, not Gabriel. Shedeur, that doesn't happen by accident. That happens when the team has already made its emotional investment. When the guy you say is a long shot is already being treated like a leader by the people who actually matter, his teammates. When your backup QB is taking over huddle responsibilities and delivering speeches that players actually respond to, your quarterback room isn't just unsettled. It's already decided. And this is where things get volatile. If the Browns announce Gabriel as QB2 going into preseason, they'll be fighting their own team's energy. If they try to split reps going forward, they're just delaying the inevitable. The Browns can't fake control anymore. The locker room is already turned. The ownership factor. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room, Jimmy Haslam. He's been a hands-on owner before. Too hands-on, depending on who you ask. But this time, his involvement could be the only thing that saves the Browns from themselves. He's reportedly watching every practice, meeting privately with Barry and Stefanski. And from what insiders are leaking, he likes what he sees in Shedeur. That matters. A lot. Because if Haslam steps in and says, give the kid a real shot, there's only so much pushback Stefanski and Barry can offer. They know how quickly patience wears thin with this owner. They know what it looks like when the boss decides to change direction. If Haslam throws his weight behind Sanders, it might not just shift the QB depth chart. It might reshape the entire franchise trajectory. What happens if they still don't start him? Let's just walk this nightmare out. The Browns name Gabriel the backup. Shedeur gets limited reps behind a veteran. The season starts, and the offense sputters. The locker room fractures. The media turns. The fans boo. Gabriel's confidence tanks. Then they finally start Shedeur in Week 7 after a 2-4 start. He plays well. Really well. But now, the season's already slipping. The team is gassed, and the magic that could have defined the season is being asked to clean up the mess. That's not just a waste. That's organizational cowardice. And Browns fans, they've seen this movie too many times. What if they actually do the right thing? Now flip it again. Shedeur starts getting real first-team reps in practice. He's named QB2 going into the first preseason game. He lights it up. The coaching staff leans in. They let him start Week 1. He shows out. He gives you juice. A sense of hope. He stumbles, maybe, but he learns fast. He grows with the team. The offense finds its identity. The season finds its pulse. Now, you're not just rebuilding. You're building. That's the scenario fans are dreaming of. And all it takes is one decision. Final word. The clock is ticking. This isn't a 3-month saga. This is a 3-day countdown to reality. Because once the preseason games start, the excuses vanish. The rotations are on film. The performances are public. And the quarterback debate isn't just internal anymore. It's national. The Browns can either get ahead of the narrative or be buried under it. Because the longer they delay Shedeur's rise, the louder the fallout will be. And if they make the wrong call, they won't just lose games. They'll lose everything. So, what's it going to be, Cleveland? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe for the next round of drama, and buckle up